Right, kia ora team. As some of you requested, you would like a flipped class in terms of how to write the assessment or even the journals. So I'm going to do a flip class into the assessment breakdown and what I'm looking for in the journals and how to best write them to give you the best opportunity to get that merit or excellence. Now, by looking at this journal, we might still have to be in a position to do a conclusion, but we'll probably end up doing that probably towards that last week of term after Tough Guy, Tough Girl Challenge or after the holidays, right? So the physical activity outcome, what is it? And I've asked you to research, learn, and devise strategies to apply in a 4 to 6 week training program to achieve your physical activity outcome and the Tough Guy, Tough Girl Challenge. So the physical activity outcome basically is your goal, right? And this program may be adapted or changed along the way, and you will have a time to adapt this, yeah, and that will be in our reflection week. Or you could adapt it along the way when you're doing your actual reflections. Now, most of you would have already set your SMART goal, and after this video, you might want to revise that SMART goal or add to it, yeah? So this is an example of a SMART goal, and we went over some today in class. So complete the Tough Guy, Tough Girl Challenge. That could be one. Some of you might want to complete it under 60 minutes. Hezekiah was saying he wanted to be the top 5 in the class. Go Hezi. Right? Or just to complete it without walking is also a goal or a performance goal. Some other personal or performance outcomes could be maybe just to plan 5 effective training sessions using methods of training or principles of training. Maybe another one was to increase my fitness by achieving level 8 in the beat test, which is 2 levels higher than my base test. Now, I hope you're looking at these and saying, yes, Mr. Warriner, I can see how these goals are very specific. You know, they're very clear cut. I've given you ways that they can be measured. And in terms of these goals here, they are outcome goals, but you can see which ones are outcome and which ones are performance outcomes or goals. Yeah, so it's about, you know, your whole goal over here could be a variety of these. Yeah, so you could extend your goal. Now, to gain excellence, it's written in the journal, selecting and explaining using coherent, insightful reasoning. It's all written there, and I've explained it again over here. So basically, you have selected and explained, underlined, selected and explained some strategies. And now these strategies could be some of the ones that we've already focused on, such as goal setting, methods of training, principles of training, exercise physiology. Yeah, so you've selected and explained some of these in your journal. Yeah. The next one is you have used clear and insightful reasoning. Yeah, so you have to give reasoning to why you use them and questioned and challenged the assumptions of the knowledge of those strategies. So you're challenging or you're questioning maybe like what's goal setting all about? You know, you're questioning some of the knowledge, like, I mean, is goal setting about creating focus for us? And you could look a little bit deeper into it and get some research. And basically, you know, how do they help us to achieve our goal or outcome? And you need to put that into your journal. And the last thing that we need to do, and this is in our reflection week, you have trialed and made adjustments to the strategies. So these strategies again, in order to achieve your outcome. So like what kind of changes needed to be made? Surely you've got some that you're already thinking about, like maybe you know, certain methods of training aren't particularly for you and you wanted to change it, right? So those need to be jotted down in the area that I'll show you soon. So we'll quickly touch on this one here, and I'm going to go over each part of the journal, so you basically have more knowledge to plan, to goal set, to write down specifics in your journal. Right, so you have selected and explained some strategies, goal setting, etc., etc., etc. Alright, so the first part of the journal, and I've snippet from the journal, right? You do the date, and I think I've gone with the date for tomorrow, so Wednesday, let's say session 6, the date, and I've gone for a fresh cut, new kind of goals or tasks for the session. So to plan an effective session using interval training, right? And you can tick these later on. Setting a process goal, possibly heart rate reaches 150 beats per minute on average. Now, some of you might want to use the heart rate monitors, which is cool, or maybe some of you are going to break up the session that you're doing, and maybe you're going to have a minute's rest, and that'll be opportunity to check your heart rate, and then you'll record it down. All right, so that's your goals sorted for that session. The next thing that you could look at doing is changing these, right? And I know some of you are doing that already, but looking at, what kind of focus are you turning up to Wednesday's training with? Is it good or bad? And you can reflect on it. The training ethic, terrible or amazing? Energy levels, low to high. That's where you can change this area, and you can adjust it to how you want it to fit, and you can also change these as well. Yeah. The next one is your major events, or what did you do? This is where you're going to plan, rough plan of what you did, and then you can put your thoughts and feelings about the session, about what you did after it. Yeah. So basically, I've just written, I'm going to do a variety of exercises, interval training. Yeah, I haven't written the specifics yet. You'll see where I've written the specifics soon. I'm really looking to push myself and set a high heart rate throughout the session. Excuse me, looking to push myself by working with Bill, my mate Bill over here, as he has a similar goal. Yeah, and then at the bottom, the description or a diagram of activities that we use, right? So 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, some Tabata training, if those who are familiar, or HIIT training, high intensity interval training. So 5 rounds of burpees, off and on. Yeah, 5 rounds of running the lengths, 5 rounds of bear crawls, 5 rounds of explodes. Yeah. All right, so that's my training session for that day. So I'm expecting you guys to, you can be you can be a bit more specific in here. Like you can give us a bit more of a description, like your thoughts around the training, and then something better in here. But that's like a basic of what I'm looking for. All right, you have used clear and insightful reasoning and questioned and challenged the assumptions of knowledge of those strategies. All right, so we're looking at this part now. Right, and the second part of the assessment is really important. The second page of their journal, sorry. So the biophysical principles, highlight one that you have explained, right, and that you're looking at. Right. So basically, I've gone with exercise physiology and the principle of goal setting. So comment and reasoning why I've used goal setting. Right. So straight away, I want you to look at these underlined terms or words that I've used. Right, it could be argued that setting process goals helps enhance focus and makes it easier to train. Right, so it could be argued. So argue means I'm already challenging goal setting and setting process goals. So I'm kind of challenging that thought already. Helps enhance focus and makes it easier to train. This is knowledge. Yeah, so I've gathered a bit of knowledge and I've dropped it in here for my sentence starter. All right. Now the next part, we're pushing it on a little bit further. By knowing what you are doing and why you're doing it, it gives a sense of responsibility and dedication towards your training. Right. And remember, responsibility and dedication comes under that DREAM acronym. Yeah, so something to key in there. Right. It creates intrinsic motivation. You're showing your knowledge, which is arguably, challenging again, the best form of motivation compared to external motivation. Now, some of you Flash people might want to drop in a little bit of research here, like can you find some person to back you up here, right? And then we get into the next part where where I do enjoy Mr. Warner yelling and encouraging me, I feel more likely to achieve my process goals because I am self-motivated and I can rely on myself to do the best I can. Yeah, I assume that interval training was to be the best method of training, so I'm dropping a bit of methods of training in here too, right? So I assuming again, that interval training was to be the best method of training for me today because I really enjoy training at high intensity for short periods of time. This is actually what I enjoy doing. It was evident that my heart rate was still high, and this type of training kept me motivated and interested in what we were doing. Right? So trying to give you a bit of a sense of what I'm looking for, what kind of quality writing I'm looking for in that box. Now, if I feel that the quality isn't correct, like if it's not up to the standard by the end of, maybe by the end of that reflection week, I might take another books, then we're probably going to look at adding in a conclusion, because I need to get this understanding from you guys to really extend you to an excellence grade. And then we push on to the last part of the page, where the level of challenge, and you can go through your feelings about the session. These pretty much will help you define or know if you need to do any changes. So if you're feeling about the session was negative, then there's definitely going to be a change in there, and you need to write about it. The amount of improvement, if it was low, then there's going to be a change. High, not so much changes, but then you can give us reasons why you don't need change. Maybe what's working, what isn't working. If you're having low challenge, then definitely change it. You have to write something about it. These will also give you an idea of what's positive and what's negative. So if you feel like your feelings are negative, then what were they? Why were they negative? Maybe you lacked focus, or you just didn't have that drive when you were doing your training session. Maybe you enjoy just training with people. That really helps you. Maybe the amount of improvement was really high, and you can write about that. Like, you can say, well, I've really structured my own trainings. I set little goals, little process goals about what I wanted to do over the coming weeks. And by setting these process goals, it's really helping me to just tick boxes to really improve. Like, I'm taking a few seconds off, the school run, or going up a couple of levels for the big test, those sorts of things. All right, team. So when we get to our reflection week, you'll have the question here. So I've tried and made adjustments to the strategies, goal setting, etc., in order to achieve your outcome goals. All right, and this is where this page comes. Yeah. So we're probably going to look at doing this. Maybe we'll push it probably to next week on Monday, and we're looking to reflect on our progress. Right. So we'll have to do a few other tests again. Maybe on Friday we can look at doing trigs or beeps or yo-yos, etc., to really define, to see where we're at. All right, and at least then next week we'll have something to write about. So are the strategies to achieve your goal working? So is goal setting working? Is some of the methods of training working? How do you know? What could you do to change, etc.? If these strategies, goal setting, methods of training, etc., are working, how do you know? Why do you think they are working? So is there any other knowledge that I have not used that perhaps I should have? So maybe there's talking about different energy systems that you feel that are important to talk about going further on before we get to tough guy, tough girl. And then the last one is, what assumptions can I make about the strategies I have used so far? So you might want to start comparing different things like goal setting to some of the methods of training, and comparing methods of training to principles of training. Maybe you want to compare continuous training to interval training. Maybe you want to compare circuit training to interval training. Maybe you want to challenge some of the theories around goal setting, around some of the things that aren't working or are working for you. All right. So hopefully this has given you an idea of how to structure your journal. All right. So I'm expecting you guys to hand all these assessments in on Friday, so I can look at them and give them a skim read and a bit of a rough mark as well for the weekend, and get them back to you the week after. So I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy your night.